Good afternoon to all. Welcome to Adagappa University. I am again Rajavelu. Very glad to meet you all. This is the last class. We are going to see some of the salient features of Indo-iconography. I have said earlier, it is not possible for us to continue the portions of art and architecture of India or Indo-iconography. This is a vast subject. We have, as A.L. Basham, the eminent versatile scholar, says that India that was India. It is not correct, as it was applicable to Rome or Greece or some European countries. Still, we are preserving our culture in the form of traditional methods, in the form of worshipping methods. So, the wonder that was India, he himself recognized that India is always having wonders. So that's why it is a vast subject. Today we are completing our portions. Though I have discussed on Hindu iconography, on Hindu temples, we are having a large number of art and architectural features in India, starting from the Buddhist Viharas, Jaina pantheon, and also Islamic architecture, as well as the colonial period, Indo-Sasanic architecture. But it is not possible to cover all these things within 3 days, within a stipulated period. So I cut short my program. So the basic ideas we are given, we have discussed. These are all only basic ideas. Many more books are there. You can go through that and you can learn more things from the books of Indian architecture as well as Indo-iconography. The best books of Indo-iconography is T.A. Gopinatha Rao. He has written a voluminous volume on this subject. Um, so let us see the Indo-iconography today. The worship of nature and Mother Goddess worship are the earliest worship amidst the prehistoric people in India. The rituals are performed by the people of early period is depicted in Indian pre and protohistoric periods in India. For instance, we have the evidences of religious worship in the Indus Valley seals, uh, the Pasupati, as well as the Mother Goddess, even the Murugu, the identified by Airavata Magadevan, and in the paintings of prehistoric paintings as well as the protohistoric paintings of India, we are having the figures of gods and goddesses, particularly the Mother Goddess worship, uh, was prevalent in India. Particularly in Tamil Nadu, we have the Keelwale paintings. It is near Vilupuram. It is a fine example of Mother Goddess worship. Symbolic representations also there. We have worshipped some symbols also. The Keelwale paintings, the depiction of Mother Goddess, they perform some rituals. Particularly the ladies performing some rituals. It is depicted in the um, paintings of Kirwale in Vilupuram district. The Indus Valley civilization witnessed the worship of Mother Goddess as well as the worship of Pasupati, and also we have some representation of god and goddesses on the seals. The seals portrayed the figures of some gods and goddesses. Many terracotta figurines we have come across in the excavations all over India. Particularly in Tamil Nadu, we have many terracotta figurines which were unearthed from the excavations of Tamil Nadu and beyond Tamil Nadu too. They clearly suggest that the ancient people, our ancestors, worshipped the mother goddess as well as the fertility cult. There are two mother goddess figures have been discovered at Adichanallur. One was recovered by Alexander Ray in the 19th century excavations. Again, in the year 2004, we got some pottery. On the pottery, we have etching marks of a mother goddess. Um, I have forgotten to add that photos since it is time to complete. So I have forgotten that one. If possible, next time I'll show that both the mother goddess we have recorded from the Adichanallur. Apart from that, we got many more mother goddess in the form of terracotta figurines. Even at Keeladi too, the Keeladi excavation also yielded some terracotta figurines. That is earthenware, made of earthen clay terracotta ware, and many more terracotta figurines have been discovered in the excavations. Um, Modur and Kaveri Pumpatinam, Arikamedu, Urayu, etc. So it shows that we were the people of worshipping Mother Goddess as well as the natural worship. This is the figure of anthropomorphic figure we have come across uh, uh, in Tamil Nadu in two places, one at Modur, one at Motur, very near to Thiruvannamalai district, very near to Thiruvannamalai town. There is a place known as Tanipadi, and from Tanipadi to Motur, it is discovered in the megalithic complex. This is anthropomorphic figure of a people they worship anthropomorphic figure. Again, we got another one from Tirukoilu region. Um, that is known as Visiriparai. So two anthropomorphic figure we have discovered in Tamil Nadu. Many more this kind of anthropomorphic figure. The Andhra archaeological people they discovered in Chittur and some of the places in Kadapa and other area. The female figurine of the anthropomorphic figure also they uh, recovered from the megalithic sites. These are the fertility cult or the anthropomorphic cult worshipped by the people of megalithic period. Generally, the images of worship are divided into three classes. They are chala, that is movable. For example, the Uchava Murtis, they are all movable Murtis. Chala and Asala, immovable. It is permanently fixed in the Garbhagriha or in the temple. That is known as Asala. Sala, Achala, and Chalachala. Chalachala means both. The function of the deity is both. It moves from one place to other, or as a Utsav Murti. Like in the procession also, they will take to procession, as well as they worshipped permanently in the temple, movable and immovable. That is known as Chala, Achala, and Chala Chala. The Chala given this Chala means movable. So the Vinayaka they will take to procession. So this is Chala. So most of the um, movable is made of branches or wood. So easily they have to portable. So this is known as Chala. Asalam, you can see this linga, they fixed in the temple Garbhagriha itself. So it is not a movable one. So this is known as Achalam. Then Chala Chala. So this is a movable and immovable bronze image. This is a the Narsimha. Sometimes it is fixed in the temple itself, and also they will take for procession. This is Chala Chala. So this kind of the basic things you should know uh, for the purpose of our Hindu pantheon, Hindu studies, because we are every day we are coming across many more iconographic features, many more sculptures in the temples. So how you can identify it? With the help of the iconographic features only, we have to identify all the god and goddesses, all the iconic features of god and goddesses. It is necessary to know the iconic the position of hands, the headdresses, the standing posture, sitting posture. What are the um, god and goddesses? What are they have? What are they possessed in their hands? These are all necessary to identify the deities. Then Silpa Sastra says all these things, how to prepare the sculpture, how to build the temple. We have seen that the Vastu also they followed then on the base of Silpa Sastra, on the base of Manasastra, they built the temple. So our Indian followed the following books. It is variously listed in the architecture books. So the Manasara, Kasyapa, Manuswara, Mayamada, then Sagaladigaram, Vishwagarmiyam, uh, Saraswatyam, uh, Silparatnam, Silparatnam, then Puva Garanagam, then Kumara Dandiram, Ajitagamam, Suprabodhakam, Aindiram, Vaiganas. Maindiram, you know that is earliest Tamil literature. Um, refer to the architecture features, architecture engineering techniques. Then Vaiganasa, then Panjaratra. So generally, they even for the pujas and festivals in the temples when they are performed, they are following certain kind of rules that is prescribed in Vaiganasa and Panjaratra. Some temples are belonging to Panjaratra, and some temples they are following the Vaiganasa. So these are the things how they are making pujas, how they are performing other rituals. These are all books we have in India. Then apart from this, we have some Puranas also. It is also they are also referring about the temple formations and also the depiction of god and goddesses. The Vishnu Purana, Varaha Purana, Agni Purana, and Linga Purana, Bhatma Purana. Many Puranas are there. Bhatma Purana, Skanda Purana, Vamana Purana, Bhagavata Purana, Matsya Purana, Kurma Purana, Brahma Purana. These are some of the examples of the Puranas. So I have shown that. Then generally even our icons, generally Uruvam, Aruvam, Aruvam. Like that it is divided into three sectors. Aruvam, Uruvam, Aruvam. Like that. This is Aruvam. So it is not having any peculiar, any specific things like these are all only representation of uh, god and goddesses. Yeah. So this is Aruvam. So like the symbolic representation. These are all symbolic representation of god and goddesses. It gives some idea that whether it is a linga is for Shiva, like that. This is the Aruvam. It is not a definite figure. It is not a definite the physical features. So it has some anthropomic features. So this is the anthropomic figure. Already I have mentioned. It is discovered in Motur near Tiruvannamalai. These are the Saligram. Particularly the Saligram, the people are worshipping still, maintaining some of the people still they are maintaining the Saligram in their houses. Every day they are worshipping. So this is Saligram is also is a form of Arvam. It is not having a definite form. So this is known as Arvam. Then there some people is having these are all auspicious things. Even the Shank and other things also. The conch, everything is Arvam. So they are making as a spiritual objects. So they are worshipping on that. This is the linga. You know that is a linga is a form of anthropomic form of female and male combination of our Hindu pantheon. So the linga is representing the Shiva. So this is the Arvam form. Then Urvam, we have a definite the figures. So this is the Urvam. You see the same our Narasimhamurti is having some feature of physics. So this is the Urvam, and also this is the Mahishasura Mardini, and she is in the form of a female, and this is also the Varaha. They are having human body and as well as the animal head. So these are the Urvam, Aruvam, Uruvam. Then Aruvuruvam. So both combination of both. Aruvuruvam means combination of both. Both Uruvam and Aruvam is they mixed with each other. And this is Aruvuruvam. The Linga is having, this is from, this is the earliest representation of anthropomic or Linga form at Gudimalam. It is very near to Chittoor area. We have a temple. It belongs to 2nd century BC, where we have the um, we have this linga form in the form of anthropomic form, belongs to 2nd century BC, excavated by I.K. Sharma of Archaeology of India, and it belongs to second. This is the earliest linga form we have found in India. This is also Arurvam. So you see the linga and the Shiva form. So this is Arurvam. Then the Lingodhava, particularly in the rear wall of our temples, generally in the Shiva temple, we have the Arurvam. It shows that the as coming out of the Linga. So it shows the value of the Saivism. So we know the history of the story of this Lingodhava. Um, then the Vishnu is shown like a boar, and also the Brahma is shown as a Garuda, like that, as a bird. So this is the Linga form. It is a Aruvuruvam form. So generally we have come across in all the temples of Saiva pantheon. Then Chitram, full image is known as Chitram. So even it is also divided into three kinds. One is known as Chitram, the full image. So if you have the solid image of a bronze image or stone image, if you have that, that is known as Chitram. Then Chitraradham, that is bas relief. Generally, the bas relief sculpture is referred. Some mistakes are there. So I have done urgently. So bear with me. So that's why some mistakes are there. I found some mistakes also in this documentation. So this is Chitradharam. So that is a bas relief sculptures. In many temples, we have this kind of bas relief. Only the one dimensions will be there, not all dimension. So there is a portrait on the walls of the temples. This is a Chitradharam. This is from Mamallapuram, and this is from North India, the Magishamartini and the niche portions of the temple. So this the off portions that is known as Chitradharam. Then Chitra Bhasham. So the many temples we have on the walls of in the form of paintings, even in wooden also they carved some god and goddesses, and also in glass also we have paintings like that. So this is from that is known as Chitra Bhasham. They made some paintings of god and goddesses, that is known as Chitra Bhasham. This is from Tanjavur. This is a famous Rajarajan painting. Rajaraja is standing and worshipping in front of the Ponnambalam, the golden uh, sanctorium of Chidambaram. This is Nataraja. So, along with his wife, he is worshipping pastor. This is this paint is um, belonging to Chola period. Then we have some Naik's paintings also. Sometimes we have some description of the painting. We have in this also we have some description written in painting in the painting itself. So this is a wooden plate. So we are having some the Gajalashmi is shown here in the paintings. Then so many bangas we have. The bangas generally we have the Samabanga, uh, Abanga, Tribanga, Adibanga, and Abasa Banga. That is Amabanga, Abanga, Tribanga, Adibanga, and Abasa Banga. So the on the base of the Bangas, so one can identify the deity or god and goddesses of in the pantheon. In the god and goddesses, we can identify it on the basis of the uh, Bangas. So the Sambhabanga means they fully erected. So they are standing with erection motion. So this is known as the two legs are in a straight line. So that is known as Samabanga. Then Abanga means slightly bent. Abanga is slightly bent. Only two twist. That is known as Abanga. Just stand in the hip portions. Just slightly bend his hip portions. This is known as Abanga. Then Tribanga means three bangas. So you can see here three bangas, and the top portions and the belly portions. It is just slightly turned, and again it is turned here in the bottom portions. That is known as Tribanga. Generally, the ladies used to have these Tribanga portions. They are all god and goddesses having the Tribanga portions. The ladies generally they won't stand for a long time. That's why even and in the sculptures as well as the in the bronzes, they used to make like this the Tribanga, then Adibanga. So it is usually they are having the male and female god and goddess is having just come forward in his one leg come forward. That is known as Adibanga with his consort. So this is known as Adibanga. Then the ferocious form like Nadarajar and the Magshashura Martini and even the Gajashamhara Murti, all the Samhara Murtis, they are depicted in the Abhasana Banga. That is known as Abhasana Banga. So these are the Bangas we have in the sculptures as well as in the bronzes. So the it is the this is Samabanga. So you see the Samabanga first. So the two sculptures are standing in erection. So the legs are very straight. So this is the Samabanga. These are the branches in Abangam. The statue, the branches are standing in a position, and it the bangas in two curvatures are there. So slightly bend on the portions, and again it turns uh, in the below level. So this is the Abangam. Here we are seeing the Tribanga position of the god and goddesses. So generally the goddesses generally they are representing in Tribanga position. So here the top she is the head is very straight. Again slightly bend on her hip side. Again it turns towards slightly bend in a type positions and standing on the pedestal. So Shiva is also is representing with Tribanga position. So these are the Tribanga posture of the god and goddesses. This is Adibangam. They are standing with embracing with his consort. Generally, the two male and female god and goddesses will be there in the Adibangam, and they are just they are standing in a erection like the, in a straight position. This is known as Adibangam. These are the Abhasa Bangam, generally the ferocious, the god in the destruction position. They used to have this Abhasa Bangam. Is the Gaja Shamvara Murti. So the Nataraja and most of the sculptures, they are killing demands, they like that. So they are represented in Abhasa Bangam. So these are the specimen of Abhasa Bangam. we used to have this kind of Abasa Bangam very much. So killing the demons or in a ferocious way, the god and goddesses most of the time they are showing in this Abasa Bangam.